Today we're going to be looking at the yield of material exercise. I'm gone today and you're going to be having a substitute. And so I wanted to give you a few instructions on this to make sure that it makes sense for you. This exercise is all about how do we get the most out of the material that we have. As you know, materials are extremely expensive and we want to be able to be wise about how we cut things out. Sometimes when we use our CNC router, the CNC software can optimize that for us. But when we're just cutting out sheets of plywood and boards, we need to use our minds to get this figured out correctly. So we're going to go through this example problem, and there'll be 4 more problems that you'll go through on your own. Each of these problems is worth a couple points, so make sure you get it done and you answer all of the questions. So this board right here, let's imagine there's no writing on here, but you have a board that is 6 inches wide and 96 inches long, or 8 feet. Your job is to be cutting out some pieces for a face frame. The face frame rails are 2 1/4 wide by 16 inches long, and the stiles are 2 1/4 by 27. So you would use your pencil to make these marks where I have already drawn in what these dimensions are. So if you look down here on question 1, you can see there's no marks on there. So imagine our example looked like question 1. So I need to draw in here where all these pieces are going to get cut out. And there's lots of ways to do this. The way that I chose was to first rip this board at 2 1/4, and then out of that ripped piece, go to the miter saw and cross cut out my 27-inch and my 16-inch pieces. You could also go the route where your 2 27-inch pieces would be here. So you would cross cut first at 27 and then go to the table saw to rip. And you could also make another cross cut at 16 and then go to the table saw and rip them out to 2 1/4. I'm not super concerned if you get it wrong or you do it a different way than I would. What I'm concerned is that you logically thought this out. So in my logic here, this scrap piece of wood, other students could use that. So I wrote down here my rip dimension is at 2 1/4, and my cross cut dimension is at 27, and I could also put in here at 16 as well, because I'm going to have to make some cross cuts at 27 and 16. But I'm really more concerned about what your first cross cut's going to be at. And then down here, process done first, circle, cross cut, or rip. And that's really all that you got to do. So on number 1, we see that we've got to cut out some door rails that are 2 1/4 by 14 and 2 1/4 by 30. How would you cut that out of that piece of wood? Label your cuts and then tell me what you do first. And then down here in question 2, we start getting into a countertop question, something that's a little bit bigger, and we've got a bigger piece of wood. We've got a whole sheet of plywood. How would you best cut that out? Notice that you'd get 6 countertops out of this sheet, or you should. And then your door panel, 11 by 18. Use a pencil to mark out how it would go, and then tell me what your dimensions are for your cuts, and would you cross cut or rip first? And honestly, a lot of these, there's more than one right answer. I just want you to think through how you would do it. Good luck, and we'll see you when I get back.